Awaken every sleeping part inside of me. Shatter every obstacle in front of me. I can never get enough. I can never get enough of your love. I can never get enough. I can never get enough of your love. I can never get enough. No, I can never get enough of your love. I can never get enough. I can never get enough of your love. Everything you promised, everything I need. Everything is perfect, everything is clean. Every time you help in every kind of need. Every chain is broken, every heart is free. Everything you promise, whatever you say I need. Everything is perfect, everything is clean. Every time you help in every kind of need. Every chain is broken, every heart is free. No, I can never get enough. No, I can never get enough of your love. I can never get enough. I can never get enough of your love. I can never get enough. No, I can never get enough of your love. I can never get enough. I can never get enough of you. My love and praise, I'm wide awake, wide awake, I'm wide awake. When I see your face, I'm wide awake, wide awake, I'm wide awake. My love and praise, I'm wide awake, wide awake, I'm wide awake. When I see your face, I'm wide awake, wide awake in you. I know I don't deserve it. I still fall short, but you still say to me you're worth it. Yeah, I come running to you, cause you're a good, good guy. Yes, you're a good, good father. Oh yeah, the world is going under. Makes you really wonder how beautiful the world is. Come down and fix it. You're so consistent when everything is shaking. Don't know where I'd be without you in my life. Never be enough. All the prayers as they ascend into heaven will never be enough when measured to your love. Oh, when I am needy. You have a way to restore my life. Every time I fall, may I hear you call. Every time you call, may I not withdraw. 'Cause every single moment, whenever you intervene, every chain is broken, every heart is free, every word you're spoken, whatever you say I need. Yahuwah, your love is perfect. Oh, your love is sweet. Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Yahuwah, you're all I need. Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, oh. 'Cause in every moment, every season, every sickness, every season of my life, when I am broken and I am needy, you have a way to restore my life. Every time I fall, may I hear you call. Every time you call, may I not withdraw. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah. Oh, your love, your love. I can never get enough. No, I can never get enough of your love. I can never get enough. I can never get enough of your love.
Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha. Good to see you all here. I pray everybody's week has gone well. I know it's been a long week for some of us, but besides that, I pray everyone's doing well. Shabbat Shalom, Robert, Bobby. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So we got some good stuff today. We're going to continue in our Torah portions, and that's going to be, so it's Chayei Sarah, or the life of Sarah. And we're going to be reading Genesis 23 through Genesis 25:18, and then Jubilees chapters 20 through 23. And then after that, we're going to be getting into the review of the calendar as well. We got a lot of points to cover there, and it's just a review of it, so it's not going to have all the information, but a good portion of it's in there. The important stuff. I mean, it's all important, really, but anyways, we're going to cover it. And yeah, Sister Marissa's got a special presentation she put together as well. So all praise to the Most High Yahuwah. So let me say a prayer and we'll jump right into it. Father Abba Yahuwah, we come to you in prayer to ask for your guidance, your blessings, and your protection as we read and we study through your word. Help us to discern the truth from men's truth and your truth, because we know men's truth is not the truth. Help us to strengthen us, keep us going, and be able to endure to the end. Because I know many of us go through these struggles, trials, and tribulations, sometimes daily, sometimes weekly, and we always need you, Father. So please help to protect us and lift us up. Put a hedge of protection around those who desperately need it. And I pray to you, excuse me, I pray to you in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Let it be so. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Good to see you all here. So, let's get into our Torah portions today. And let me share the screen here. And yeah, I know we got some volunteers to help read as well. So let me, here we go. All right. So we're going to be starting in Genesis chapter 23 here. And then we will read through the corresponding verses in the book of Jubilees as well. And so far, reading through it all, we've seen that the book of Jubilees lines right up with exactly what Genesis says. Contrary to popular belief. Anyways. All right, so we'll start here in Genesis 23. And then whoever would like to read next, Sumi, Brandon, Catriona, and who else? I know we got a few volunteers, so I'll start off here, and then we can get into who's reading next afterwards. All right, so Genesis chapter 23. And Sarah lived 127 years, the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died in Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah, and to weep for her. Then Abraham rose up from beside his dead. Oh, from beside his dead. I almost thought that said bed, sorry. And spoke to the sons of Heth, saying, I am a foreigner and a sojourner among you. Give me property for a burial site among you, so that I may bury my dead from my presence. And the sons of Heth answered Abraham, saying to him, Hear us, my master. You are a prince of Elohim among us. Bury your dead in the choicest of our burial places. None of us withholds from you his burial site, from burying your dead. And interesting here, it says he is a prince of Elohim. So Abraham rose and bowed himself to the people of the land, the sons of Heth. And he spoke with them, saying, If it is your desire that I bury my dead from my presence, then hear me, and approach Ephron, son of Zohar, for me. And let me have the cave of Machpelah, which he has, which is at the end of his field, and let him give it to me for the complete amount of silver, as a property for a burial site among you. And Ephron dwelt among the sons of Heth. And Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the hearing of the sons of Heth, who all entered at the gate of his city, saying, No, my master, listen to me. I shall give you the field and the cave that is in it. I shall give it to you in the presence of the sons of my people. I shall give it to you and bury your dead. And Abraham bowed himself down before the people of the land. And he spoke to Ephron in the hearing of the people of the land, saying, If only you would hear me. I shall give the amount of silver for the field. Take it from me, and let me bury my dead there. And Ephron answered Abraham, saying to him, My master, listen to me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that between you and me? So bury your dead. So he's trying to say, just take it. That's nothing to me. Take it and bury your dead. But Abraham is insisting, he's going to pay for it. And Abraham listened to Ephron, and Abraham weighed out the silver for Ephron, which he had named in the hearing of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, currency of the merchants. Thus the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, in the field and the cave which was in it, and all the trees that were in the field, which were within all the surrounding borders, were deeded to Abraham as a possession in the presence of the sons of Heth, before all who went in at the gate of his city. So there were many witnesses here to this land and all of this being deeded to Abraham as a possession for him. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah, his wife, in the cave of the field of Machpelah, before Mamre, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. Thus the field and the cave that was in it were deeded to Abraham by the sons of Heth as property for a burial site. And we also see this is where a lot of the patriarchs and all that were taken and buried as well. And Shabbat Shalom, Tracy. Good to see you here. All right, so let's see. Sumi, did you want to read next? Or Brandon?
I'll read.
Awesome. Whenever you're ready, brother.
All right. Chapter 24, verse 1, Genesis. And it says, Abraham was old, advanced in years, and Yahuah had Barak Abraham in every way. And Abraham said to the oldest servant of his house, who ruled over all that he had, please put your hand under my thigh, so that I may make you swear by Yahuah, the Elohim of the Shemaim, and the Elohim of the earth, that you do not take a wife from my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell, but go to my land and to my relatives, and take a wife from my son Yitzhak. And the servant said to him, What if the woman refuses to follow me to this land? Do I then take your son back to the land from which you came? And Abraham said to him, Beware lest you take my son back there. Yahuah Elohim of the Shemaim, who took me from my father's house and from the land of my relatives, and who spoke to me and swore to me, saying, To your seed I give this land, he sends his messenger before you, and you shall take a wife for my son from there. And if the woman refuses to follow you, then you shall be released from this oath, only do not take my son back there. Then the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham, his master, and swore to him concerning this matter. And the servant took 10 of his master's camels and left, for all his master's goods were in his hand. And he arose and went to Aram Naharaim, to the city of Nahor. And he made his camels kneel down outside the city by a fountain of water at evening time, the time when women go out to draw water. And he said, Yahuah Elohim of my master Abraham, please meet before me this day, and show kindness to my master Abraham. So I am standing here by the fountain of water, and the daughters of the men of the city are coming out to draw water. Let it be that the young woman to whom I say, Please let down your jar to let me drink, and she says, Drink, and let me water your camels too. Let her be the one whom you have appointed for your servant Yitzhak, and let me know by this that you have shown kindness to my master. And it came to be, before he had ended speaking, that Rivkah, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, came out with her jar on her shoulder. And the young woman was very good-looking, a maiden, no man having known her. And she went down to the fountain, filled her jar, and came up. And the servant ran to meet her and said, Please let me drink a little water from your jar. And she said, Drink, my master. And she hurried and let her jar down to her hand and gave him a drink. And when she had finished giving him a drink, she said, Let me draw water for your camels too, until they have finished drinking. And she hurried and emptied her jar into the trough, ran back to the fountain to draw water, and drew for her all his camels. And watching her, the man remained silent in order to know whether Yahuah had prospered his way or not. And it came to be when the camels had finished drinking that the man took a golden nose ring, weighing half a shekel, and 2 bracelets for a wrist, weighing 10 shekels of gold, and said, Whose daughter are you? Please inform me. Is there room in your father's house for us to spend the night? And she said to him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, Milcah's son, whom she bore to Nahor. And he said to him, We have both straw and fodder enough, and room to spend the night. And the man bowed down his head and worshipped Yahuwah. And he said, Baruch be Yahuwah, Elohim of my master Abraham, who has not forsaken his kindness and his truth toward my master. As for me being on the way, Yahuwah led me to the house of my master's brothers. Then the young woman ran and informed those of her mother's house these matters. And Rivkah had a brother whose name was Laban, and Laban ran out to the man to the fountain. And it came to be when he saw the nose ring and the bracelets on his sister's wrist, and when he heard the words of his sister Rivkah saying, Thus the man spoke to me, that he went to the man and saw him standing by the camels at the fountain. And he said, Come in, O Baruch of Yahuwah. Why do you stand outside? I myself have prepared the house and have a place for the camels. So the man came into the house while he unloaded the camels and provided straw and fodder for the camels and water to wash his feet and the feet of the men who were with him, and put food before him to eat. But he said, Let me not eat until I have spoken my word. And he said, Speak on. And he said, I am Abraham's servant, and Yahuwah has baraked my master exceedingly, and he has become great, and he has given him flocks and herds, and silver and gold, and male and female servants, and camels and donkeys. And Sarah, my master's wife, bore a son to my master, if she was old, and he has given to him all that he has. And my master made me swear, saying, Do not take a wife from my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell, but go to my father's house and to my relatives, and take a wife from my son. And I said to my master, What if the woman does not follow me? But he said to me, Yahuwah before whom I walk sends his messenger with you, and shall prosper your way, and you shall take a wife from my son, from my relatives, and from my father's house. Then when you go to my relatives, you are to be released from this oath, and if they do not give her to you, then you are released from my oath. And this day I come to the fountain and said, Yahuwah, Elohim of my master Abraham, please, if you are prospering the way in which I am going, see, I'm standing by the fountain of water when the maiden comes out to draw the water, and I say to her, Please give me a drink, give me a little water from your jar to drink. And she says to me, Drink, and let me draw for your camels too. Let her be the woman whom Yahuwah has appointed for my master's son. I had not yet ended speaking in my heart, then Rivkah was coming out with her jar on her shoulder, and she went down to the fountain and drew water. And I said to her, Please let me drink. And she heard and let her jar down from her shoulder and said, Drink, and let me water your camels too. So I drank, and she watered the camels too. And I asked her and said, Whose daughter are you? And she said, The daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bore to him. Then I put the nose ring on her nose and the bracelets on her wrist. And I bowed my head and worshipped Yahuwah and Barak Yahuwah, Elohim of my master Abraham, who had led me in the true way to take the daughter of my master's brother for his son. And now, if you are going to show kindness and truth to my master, let me know, and if not, let me know, so that I turn to the right or to the left. And Laban answered Bethuel too, and said, The matter comes from Yahuwah. We are not able to speak to you either evil or good. See, Rivkah is before you. Take her and go, and let her be your master's son's wife, as Yahuwah has spoken. And it came to be, when Abraham's servant heard their words, that he bowed himself toward the earth before Yahuwah. And the servant brought out ornaments of silver and ornaments of gold and garments, and gave them to Rivkah. He also gave costly gifts to her brother and to her mother. And he and the men who were with him ate and drank and spent the night. When they arose in the morning, he said, Let me go to my master. But her brother and her mother said, Let the young woman stay with us a few days, at least 10, then you go. And he said to them, Do not delay me, since Yahuwah has prospered my way. Let me go, so that I go to my master. And they said, Let us call the young woman and ask her. So they called Rivkah and said to her, Are you going with this man? And she said, I shall go. So they let go of Rivkah, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant and his men. And they baraked Rivkah and said to her, Let our sister become the mother of thousands of 10,000s, and let your seed possess the gates of those who hate them. And Rivkah a young woman arose, and they rode on the camels and followed the man. So the servant took Ribkah and left. And Yitzhak came from the way of Beer-Lahai, for he dwelt in Negeb. And Yitzhak went out to the Midianite in the field in the evening, and he lifted his eyes, looked up, and saw the camels coming. And Ribkah lifted her eyes, and when she saw Yitzhak, she dismounted from her camel. Man, how long is it? And she said to the servant, "Who is this man walking in the field to meet us?" And the servant said, "It is my master." So she took a veil and covered herself. And the servant told Yitzhak all his matters he had done. And Yitzhak brought her into his mother Sarah's tent. And he took Ribkah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. Thus Yitzhak was comforted after his mother's death.
Awesome. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, that was a long one. Yeah, no problem, brother.
67 verses, yeah. Quite the long one.
Yes, sir.
But, some interesting things there. We see there was like nose rings and different jewelry involved, things like that. So just some interesting things that stood out to me there. But very important chapter nonetheless. Very important story as well. And we're going to see when we get into the book of Jubilees, it's going to line right up with all of this. Let's see, chapter 25. So, I don't want to mispronounce your name, sister. You got me self-conscious about that now, but
I'm sorry. It's Katrina.
There you go. Thank you.
Arkin, do you want to read first?
Yes, I'm going to read.
Arkin wants to read first. Okay. Take this one.
Oh. And Abraham took a wife whose name was Sarah, and she bore him Qumran and Yoksan and Medan and Midian and Yishbach and Shuhwa, and Yokshan brought forth Sheba and Dedan, and the sons of Dedan were Ashurim and Letushim and Leumim, and the sons of Midian were Ephah and Ephah, Hanok and Abida and Eldaah, and all of these were the children of Keturah. Now Abraham gave all that he had to Yitzhak. But the sons of the concubines who Abraham had, Abram gave gifts while he was still living, and sent them away from his son Yitzhak eastward to the land of the east. And these are all of the years which Abraham lived, 175 years. And Abraham breathed his last and died in a good old age, aged and satisfied, and was gathered to his people. And his sons Yitzhak and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the field of Ephron, son of Zohar the Hittite. The field which Abraham purchased from the sons of Heth. There Abraham was buried with Sarah and his wife. And it came to be, after the death of Abraham, that Elohim Yahuwah Barak his son Yitzhak, and Yitzhak dwelt at Beer-Lahai. And this is the genealogy of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Mitzrayite, Sarah's female servant, bore to Abraham. And these were the names of the sons of Ishmael by their names according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebaioth, then Kedar, Adbarel, Mibsam, and Misha, and Duma, and Massa, Hadad, and Timah, and Timah, and Yitzhar, Napish, and Kedemah. And these were the sons of Ishmael by their names, by their towns, by their settlements. 12 chiefs according to their tribes. And these were the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years, and he breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his people. And they dwelt from Havilah as far as Shur, which is east of Mitzrayim, as you go toward Ashur. He settled before all his brothers. And this is the genealogy of Yitzhak, Abraham's son, brought forth from Yitzhak. And Yitzhak was 40 years old, and he took Rivkah as his wife, and the daughter of Bethuel, the Aramean of Padan Aram, the sister of Laban the Aramean. And Yitzhak prayed to Yahuah for his wife, because she was barren, and Yahuah answered his prayer, and Rivkah his wife conceived. Within her the children struggled together, and she said, "If all is all right, why am I this way?" So she went to ask Yahuah. And Yahuah said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples shall be separated from your body. 1 people shall be stronger than the other, and the older shall serve the younger. When the days were fulfilled for her to give birth, and see, twins were in her womb, and the first came out reddish all over, like a hairy garment. And so they called his name Esau, and afterwards his brother came out with his hand holding on Esau's heel, so his name was called Yaakov. And Yitzhak was 60 years old when she bore him, and the boys grew up, and Esau became a man knowing how to hunt, a man of the field, while Yaakov was a complete man, dwelling in tents. And Yitzhak loved Esau because he ate of his wild game, but Rivkah loved Yaakov, and Yaakov cooked a stew. And Esau came in from the field, and he was weary. And Esau said to Yaakov, "Please feed me with that same red stew, for I am weary." And that is why his name is called Edom. And Yaakov said, "Sell me your birthright today."
Oh, the screen's...
And Esau said, "Look, I'm going to die, so why should I have birthright?" And then Yaakov said, "Swear to me today." And he swore to him, and sold his birthright to Yaakov. And then Yaakov gave Esau bread and stew of lentils, and he ate and drank, and rose up and left. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
Aw, $2 Arkin. Loved it.
Hallelujah. Very dramatic ending.
Right? Very, very dramatic ending.
Your turn.
So, yeah, we see, again, the whole life of Abraham and Sarah. And we go down to, all the way down to Esau and Jacob. So, very interesting stuff, very cool stuff. And thank you very much for reading.
You're welcome. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. All right, so our next reading, we're going to get into the book of Jubilees. And we're going to be reading chapters 20 through 23. And it's going to be basically covering the same exact stuff we just read. And it'll go into a lot more detail as well. And I will go ahead. I'll start here in Jubilees chapter 20. And then if you would like to read next, Sumi. Awesome. All right, so Jubilees chapter 20. And in the 42nd Yobel, in the first year of the 7th week, Abraham called Ishmael and his 12 sons, and Yitzhak and his 2 sons, and the 6 sons of Keturah and their sons. And he commanded them that they should observe the way of Yahuah, that they should work righteousness, and each love his neighbor, and act in this manner among all men, that they should each so that they should each so walk with regard to them as to do right ruling and righteousness on the earth. And Shabbat Shalom. Did you draw that? That's cool. Anyway, sorry. So that they should circumcise their sons according to the covenant which he had made with them, and not deviate to the right or to the left of all the paths which Yahuah had commanded us, and that we should guard ourselves from all whoring and uncleanness. So very important stuff right here. And if any woman or female servant commit whoring among you, burn her with fire. That's pretty serious itself. Went from 0 to 1,000 there. And let them not commit whoring with her after their eyes and their heart. So we see it's always been a matter of the heart and things like that. You know, Yahushua Messiah was just emphasizing these things that were already stated, but people would, glance over. And let them not take to themselves wives from the daughters of Canaan, for the seed of Canaan shall be rooted out of the land. And he told them of the judgment of the Rephaites, the judgment of the Sodomites, and how they had been judged on account of their wickedness, and had died on account of their whoring and uncleanness, and each one's corruption through whoring. And this is more spiritual whoring. I mean, I'm sure physical as well, but also spiritual. And guard yourselves from all whoring and uncleanness, and from all pollution of sin, unless you make our name a curse, and your whole life a hissing, and all your sons be destroyed by the sword, and you become a curse like Sodom, and all your remnant as the sons of Amorah. I implore you, my sons, love the Elohim of the Shamayim, and you cling to all his commands, and do not walk after their idols, and after their uncleanness. And do not make for yourselves molded or carved mighty ones, for they are worthless, and there is no spirit in them, for they are a work of hands, and all who trust in them trust in naught. Do not serve them or worship them. Nope. But you serve the Most High El, and worship him continually, and trust in his face always, and work uprightness and righteousness before him, that he may have pleasure in you, and grant you his kindness, and send rain upon you morning and evening, and barak all your works which you have wrought upon the earth, and barak your bread and your water, and barak the fruit of your womb, and the fruit of your land, and the herds of your cattle, and the flocks of your sheep. And you shall be for a barakoth on the earth, and all nations of the earth shall desire you. and Barak your sons in my name, that they may be Baruch as I am. And he gave to Ishmael and to his sons, and to the sons of Keturah, gifts, and sent them away from Yitzhak his son. And he gave all to Yitzhak his son. And Ishmael and his sons, and the sons of Keturah and their sons, went together and dwelt from Paran to the entering of Babel, in the land which is towards the east, facing the desert. And these intermixed with each other, and their name was called Arabs and Ishmaelites. There it is. That's where all these nations come from. It says right here in the book of Jubilees. But anyways, we see, the covenant made with Abraham. This is Abraham speaking to his sons, and, following all the covenant, the commands, everything about the law, because we see Abraham himself was obeying the Torah. All right, so Jubilees chapter 21. You're up, Sister Sumi. You ready?
I'm ready. Turn my echo off real quick.
Hold on. I'm sorry.
Okay, you guys can hear me? Why can't I hear you?
Yeah, we hear you. Sorry.
Okay. Chapter 21. And in the 6th year of the 7th week of this Yobel, Abraham called Yitzhak his son, and commanded him, saying, I have become old, and do not know the day of my death, and am full of my days. And see, I am 175 years old, and throughout all the days of my life I have remembered Yahuah, and sought with all my heart to do his desire, and to walk uprightly in all his ways. My being has hated idols, that I might observe to do the desire of him who created me. For he is the living Elohim, and he is Kodesh, and trustworthy, and he is righteous beyond all. And with him there is no partiality, and no accepting of bribes. For Elohim is righteous, and executes right ruling on all those who transgress his commands, and despise his covenant. And you, my son, shall observe his commands, and his laws, and his right rulings, and do not walk after the abominations, and after the carved images, and after the molded images, and eat no blood at all, of beast or cattle, or of any bird which flies in the Shamayim. And if you slaughter whatever as an acceptable peace offering, you slay it, and pour out its blood upon the altar. And all the fat of the offering offer on the altar with fine flour mixed with oil. With its drink offering, offer them all together on the altar of burnt offering. It is a sweet fragrance before Yahuah. And you shall offer the fat of the slaughtering of thanksgiving on the fire which is upon the altar, and the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the loins, and the appendage on the liver you shall remove together with the kidneys. And after all these, for a sweet fragrance, acceptable before Yahuah, with its grain offering, and with its drink offering, for a sweet fragrance, the bread of the offering to Yahuah, and eat its meat on that day, and on the 2nd day, and do not let the sun on the 2nd day go down on it till it's eaten, and let none be left over for the 3rd day, for it is not acceptable, and let it no longer be eaten. And all who eat of it shall bring sin upon themselves. For thus I have found it written in the books of my forefathers, and in the words of Hanok, and in the words of Noah. And you shall put salt on all your offerings, and do not let the salt of the covenant be lacking in all your offerings before Yahuah. And regarding the wood of the slaughterings, beware lest you bring wood for the altar in addition to these: cypress, bephron, sagad, pine, fir, cedar, juniper, palm, olive, myrrh, laurel, and citron, broom, and balm. And of these kinds of wood, put upon the altar under the offering, such as have been tried as to their appearance, and do not place any split or dark wood, hard and clean, without fault, a sound and new growth, and do not place old wood, for there is no longer fragrance in it as before. Besides these kinds of wood, there is none other that you shall place, for the fragrance is dispersed, and the smell of its fragrance does not ascend to the Shamayim. Observe this command and do it, my son, that you may be upright in all your deeds, and at all times be clean in your body, and wash yourself with water before you approach to offer on the altar, and wash your hands and your feet before you draw near to the altar. And when you are done offering, wash your hands and your feet again, and let no blood appear upon you, nor on your clothes. Be on your guard, my son, against blood. Be on your guard exceedingly. Cover it with dust. And do not eat any blood, for it is the life. Eat no blood whatsoever. And take no gifts for the blood of man, lest it be shed with impunity, without right ruling. For it is the blood that is shed that causes the earth to sin. And the earth cannot be cleansed from the blood of man, except by the blood of him who shed it. And take no bribe or gift for the blood of man. Blood for blood, that you may be accepted before Yahuah the Most High El, for he is the defense of the good, and that you may be preserved from all evil, and that he saves you from every kind of death. I see, my son, that all the works of the children of men are sin and wickedness, and all their deeds are uncleanliness, and abomination, and a defilement, and there is no righteousness with them. Beware, lest you walk in their ways, and tread in their paths, and sin, a sin unto death before the Most High El. Else he shall give you back into the hands of your transgression, and root you out of the land, and your seed likewise from under the Shamayim, and your name and your seed shall perish from the whole earth. Turn away from all their deeds and all their uncleanness, and observe the law of the Most High El, and do his desire, and be upright in all matters, and he shall barak you in all your deeds, and shall rise up from you the branch of righteousness through all the earth, throughout all generations of the earth. And my name and your name shall not be forgotten under the Shamayim forever. Go in peace, my son. May the Most High El, my Elohim, and your Elohim, strengthen you to do his desire, and may he barak all your seed, and the remnant of your seed for generations forever, with all righteousness, Barakoth, that you may be a barakah on all the earth. And he went out from him rejoicing. Hallelujah. See, I feel better already.
Barak Yahuah, I love it. So this chapter here is very, very meaty. So we see this is Abraham talking to his sons, and we see exactly what's written in the Torah as well, how to do these offerings and sacrifices. But we also see the wood as well, what types of wood we should use. And it's the same type of wood we use on the festival of the wood offering. Of course, it goes into the covenant of salt as well. And this is all Abraham. So this is just showing that all the laws, statutes, and commands existed before Moshe on Mount Sinai.
And Jeremy,
Yeah.
I was rereading Enoch this morning, and that wood that you're talking about that's supposed to be used for wood offering and for the sacrifices, that's the wood that keeps its greenery for 4 years. So like in the winter, it doesn't die off like other trees do. It keeps its foliage every 4 years.
Wow, interesting. No, thank you for pointing that out. That's awesome. Yeah, it talks about these ones you should not bring here in verse 12. And then 13 are the ones that you do bring. Pretty amazing there. And yet, of course, do not eating the blood. Do not eat it whatsoever. It's contains the life. And then, yeah, just so much meat in this chapter. I love it. And we see it lines up with everything, the quote unquote 66 books say as well. All right. Tabitha, you said you wanted to read chapter 23? Did somebody want to read 22? If not, I'll do it. No worries.
I just read 22.
Oh, did you? Wait.
Sumi read 21.
Yeah, you read 21. Yeah.
Read. No, my bad. That was my bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait.
I read 21 now.
Oh, Brandon said he's 22. Is Tabitha going to read something?
I think somebody else said they was reading 22.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, she's
Jackie, yeah.
Yeah. If you want to read, brother, go right ahead. Whenever you're ready. Chapter 22.
Okay. I thought you said it was on.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And it came to be in the first week in the 44th Yobel, in the second year, that is the year in which Abraham died, that Yitzhak and Ishmael came from Beersheba to celebrate the feast of the Shavuot, that is, the feast of the first fruits of the harvest, to Abraham their father. And Abraham rejoiced because his two sons had come. For Yitzhak had many possessions in Beersheba, and Yitzhak used to go and see his possessions and to return to his father. And in those days Ishmael came to his father to see his father, and they both came together. And Yitzhak offered a slaughtering for a burnt offering, and presented it on the altar of his father which he had made in Hebron. And he offered a slaughtering of thanksgiving, and made a feast of joy before Ishmael his brother. And Rivkah made new cakes from the new grain, and gave them to Yaakov her son, to take them to Abraham his father from the first fruits of the land, that he might eat and barak the creator of all matters before he died. And Yitzhak too sent by the hand of Yaakov to Abraham a best slaughtering of thanksgiving, that he might eat and drink. And he ate and drank, and barak the Most High El, who has created the Shamayim and earth, who has made all the fatness of the earth, and given them to the children of the men, or of men, that they might eat and drink, and barak their creator. And now I give thanks to you, my Elohim, because you have caused me to see the day. See, I am 175 years, an old man and full of days, and all my days have been peace unto me. The sword of the adversary has not overcome me, and all that you have given my children, and I, and all the days all the days of my life until this day. My Elohim, may your kindness and your peace be upon your servant and upon the seed of his sons, that they may be to you a chosen nation and an inheritance from among all the nations of the earth, from this time forever, of the generations of the earth until all the ages. And he called Yaakov and said, My son Yaakov, may the Elohim of all barak you and strengthen you to do righteousness and his desire before him, and may he choose you and your seed, that you become a people for his inheritance, according to his desire always. And you, my son Yaakov, draw near and kiss me. And he drew near and kissed him, and he said, Baruch be my son Yaakov, and all the sons of Elohim Most High, unto all the ages. May Elohim give unto you a seed of righteousness, and some of your sons may be kadosh in the midst of the whole earth. May nations serve you, and all the nations bow themselves before your seed. Be strong in the presence of men, and exercise authority over all the seed of Sheth. Then your ways and the ways of your sons shall be declared right, so that they shall become a Kodesh nation. May the Most High El give you all the barakoth with which he has barak me, and with which he has barak Noah and Adam. May the rest on the Kodesh head of your seed from generation to generation forever. And may he cleanse you from all unrighteousness and purity, that you may be forgiven all transgressions, your sins of ignorance, and may he strengthen you and barak you, and may you inherit the whole earth. And may he renew his covenant within you, that you may be to him a nation for his inheritance for all the ages, and that he may be to you and to your seed an Elohim in truth and righteousness throughout all the days of the earth. And you, my son Yaakov, remember my words and observe the commands of Abraham your father. Separate yourself from the nations and do not eat with them, and do not do according to their works, and do not become their associate, for their works are unclean, and all their ways are undefiled, and an abomination and uncleanness. They offer their offerings to the dead, and they worship evil spirits, and they eat over the graves, and all their works are worthless and emptiness. They have no heart to understand that their eyes do not see what their works are, and how they stray and saying to a piece of wood, you are my mighty one, and to a stone, you are my master, and you are my deliverer. And as for you, my son Yaakov, may the Most High El help you, and the Elohim of the Shamayim barak you, and remove you from their uncleanness and from all their straying. Beware, my son Yaakov, of taking a wife from any seed of the daughters of Canaan, for all his seed is to be rooted out of the earth. For owing to the transgression of Ham, Canaan strayed, and all his seed shall be destroyed from off the earth, and all his remnant, and none springing from him shall be saved on the day of judgment. And as for all the worshippers of the idols and the profane, there shall be no hope for them in the land of the living, and there shall be no remembrance of them on the earth, for they shall descend into the grave, into the place of condemnation they shall go. As the children of Sodom were taken away from the earth, so shall all those who worshipped idols be taken away. Do not fear, my son Yaakov, and be not dismayed, O son of Abraham. May the Most High El preserve you from destruction, and may he deliver you from all the paths of straying. This house I have built for myself, that I might put my name upon it in the earth, and it shall be named the house of Abraham. It is given to you, to your seed forever, for you shall build my house and establish my name forever. Establish my name before Elohim forever. Your seed and your name shall stand throughout all generations of the earth. And he ceased commanding him and to barak him. And the two lay together on one bed, and Yaakov slept in the bosom of Abraham, his father's father, and he kissed him 7 times, and his affection and his heart rejoiced over him. And he barak him and with all his heart, and said, the Most High El, the Elohim of all, creator of all, who brought me out of the Ur Kasdim, that he might give me this land to inherit it forever, and that I might establish a Kodesh seed. Baruch be the Most High forever. And he barak Yaakov and said, my son, over whom with all my heart and my affection I rejoice, may your favor and your kindness be lifted up on him and upon his seed always. And do not forsake him, nor despise him from this time and forever. And may your eyes be upon him and upon his seed, that you may preserve him and barak him, and may kodesh him as a nation for your inheritance. And barak him with all your barakot from this time and forever. And renew your covenant and your favor with him and with his seed, according to all your good pleasure, unto all the generations of the earth.
Barak Yahuwah, I love it. Thank you, brother.
No problem, brother.
And yeah, we see that, these festivals, they're spoken about right here. Abraham was keeping them. Sister Natalie shared it there in chat, verses 4, 5, and 6. All about the festivals, how important they are. All these commands, these Torah laws, the statutes, all of this, it was already given to Abraham. And he said he got it from his fathers because it was passed down. It's no wonder that they try to discredit the book of Jubilees, because, the synagogue of Hasatan likes to say, oh, the Torah was only established there at Mount Sinai, never before. But I think Tabitha was actually going to read 23 here, which it will be our last chapter for the Torah portion. Awesome, you're good to go. Sweet. Yeah, Whenever you are ready, sister.
Awesome. I'm gonna get it opened up real quick. All right. Chapter 23. And he placed 2 fingers of Jacob on his eyes, and he baraked the Elohim of mighty ones. And he covered his face and stretched out his feet and slept the everlasting sleep, and was gathered to his fathers. And through all of this, Jacob was lying in his bosom, and did not know that Abraham, his father's father, was dead. And Jacob awoke from his sleep and saw, basically, Abraham was cold as ice, and he said, Father, Father. But there was none that spoke, and he knew that he was dead. And he arose from his bosom and ran and told Ribkah his mother, and Ribkah went to Yitzhak in the night and told him. And they went together, and Jacob with them, and a lamp was found in his hand. And when they had gone in, they found Abraham lying dead. And Yitzhak fell on the face of his father, and wept and kissed him. And the voices were heard in the house of Abraham, and Ishmael and his son arose, and went to Abraham his father, and wept over Abraham his father. He and all the house of Abraham, and they wept with a great weeping. And his sons, Yitzhak and Ishmael, buried him in the cave of Machpelah, near Sarah his wife. And they wept for him 40 days, all the men of his house, and Yitzhak and Ishmael with all their sons, and all the sons of Keturah in their places. And the days of weeping for Abraham were ended. And he lived 3 Yobelim, or Jubilees, and 4 weeks of years, 175 years, and completed the days of his life, being old and full of days. For the days of the forefathers of their life were 19 Jubilees. But after the flood they began to grow less than 19, and to decrease in Jubilees, and to grow old quickly, and to be full of their days by reason of much tribulation and the wickedness of their ways, with the exception of Abraham. For Abraham was perfect in all his deeds with Yahuah, and well-pleasing in righteousness all the days of his life. And see, he did not complete 4 Jubilees in his life, when he had grown old by reason of the wickedness and was full of his days. And all the generations which shall arise from this time until the day of the great judgment shall grow old quickly, before they complete 2 Jubilees, and with their knowledge shall forsake them by reason of their old age. And in those days, if a man lives a Yobel and a half of years, they shall say regarding him, he has lived long. But the greater part of his days are pain and sorrow and tribulation, and there is no peace. For calamity follows on calamity, and wound on wound, and tribulation on tribulation, and evil words on evil words, and sickness on sickness, and all evil judgments such as these, one with another, sickness and overthrow, and snow and frost and ice, and fever and chills, and languishing, and scarcity of food, and death, and sword, and captivity, and all kinds of calamities and pains. And all of these shall come on an evil generation, which transgresses on the earth. Their works are uncleanness and whoring, and pollution and abominations. Then they shall say, the days of the forefathers were many, to 1,000 years, and were good. But see, the days of our life, if a man has lived many, are 70 years, and if he is strong, 80 years. And those evil, and there is no peace in the days of this evil generation. And in that generation the sons shall convict their fathers and their elders of sin and unrighteousness, and of the words of their mouth and the great wickednesses which they do, and concerning their forsaking the covenant which Yahuah made between them and him, that they should observe and do all his commands and his laws and all his Torah, which without departing either to the right hand or to the left. For all have done evil, and every mouth speaks wickedness, and all their works are an uncleanness and an abomination, and all their ways are pollution, uncleanness, and destruction. See, the earth shall be destroyed on account of all their works, and there shall be no seed of the vine, and no oil, for their works are altogether unbelieving, and they shall all perish together. beasts and cattle and birds and the fish of the sea, on account of the children of men. And they shall strive one with another, the young with the old, and the old with the young, the poor with the rich, and the lowly with the great, and the needy with the prince, on account of the Torah and the covenant. For they have forgotten command and covenant, and festivals and new moons, and Shabbatot, and Jubilees, and all right rulings. And they shall stand with swords in battle, to turn them back to the way, but they shall not return until much blood has been shed on the earth one by another. And those who have escaped shall not turn from the wickedness to the way of righteousness, but they shall all exalt themselves to deceit and wealth, that they may each take all that is his neighbor's. And they shall name the great name, but not in truth and not in righteousness. And they shall defile the most Kodash place with their uncleanness and the corruption of their pollution. And a great punishment shall come upon the deeds of this generation from Yahuah, and he shall give them over to the sword, and to judgment, and to captivity, and to be plundered and devoured. And he shall wake against them the sinners of the Gentiles, who have neither kindness nor compassion, and who shall respect the face of none, neither old or young, nor anyone, for they are more wicked and mighty to do evil than all the children of men. And they shall use violence against Yasharal, and transgression against Jacob, and much blood shall be shed upon the earth, and there shall be none to gather, and none to bury. In those days they shall cry aloud, and call and pray that they may be saved from the hand of the sinners, the Gentiles, but none shall be saved. And the heads of the children shall be white with gray hair, and a child of 3 weeks shall appear like a man of 100 years, and their stature shall be destroyed by tribulation and oppression. And in those days the children shall begin to study the laws, and to seek the commands, and to return to the ways of righteousness, the way of righteousness. And the days shall begin to grow many, and increase among those children of men, till their days draw near to 1,000 years, and to a greater number of years than their number of the days. And there shall be no old man, nor one who is not satisfied with his days, for all shall be children and youths, and all their days they shall complete, and live in peace and in joy, and there shall be no adversary, nor any evil destroyer, for all their days shall be days of barakah and healing. And at that time Yahuwah shall heal his servants, and they shall rise up and see great peace, and drive out their adversaries. And the righteous shall see and be thankful, and rejoice with joy forever and ever, and shall see all their judgments and all their curses on their enemies. And their bones shall rest in the earth, and their spirits shall have much joy. And they shall know that it is Yahuwah who executes right ruling, and shows kindness to hundreds and thousands, and to all that love him. And you, Masha, shall write down these words, for so they are written and recorded on the tablets of the Shamayim, for a witness for the generations forever.
Barak Yahuwah, thank you for reading, sister.
You're welcome, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you all caught that, but that was literally speaking about the millennial reign right there. 100%. Love it. And actually, Sister Miranda, isn't that the verses you were looking for, like, a bit ago?
Yeah.
There you go.
Woohoo.
So that is awesome. Yeah, and, you know, to toss out the book of Jubilees like people do, I don't understand it. I don't get why, you know, they say it contradicts and things like that. As we can see, nothing contradicts at all. It actually gives us a lot more detail, goes into the same things Genesis does, says the same things. There's nothing contradictory at all. And I love it, honestly. So yeah, let's see. So Marissa is going to do her presentation, her little special presentation here. After we play a song, actually. She needs some time to set up. Yeah, no, it was a really good Torah portion. Yeah, I'm going to split the recording. So I'll stop the recording after Marissa's little presentation she has. Sorry. Because it goes with the Torah, basically. So it's not like a calendar one. We'll be doing the calendar one after that. And so after Marissa's done with hers, I'll stop the recording. Then I'll start another one. Not only does it make it easier when I go back to edit, but it helps to split it up for others who also want to listen to just certain sections as well. Yes, I am in agreement, Sister Sumi. Yahuah, cleanse us with your word. Fill us with your Ruach. I'm in agreement, Sister Sumi. So, let me try and find a song that we can play while Sister Marissa gets ready. Yeah, it's a lot easier than sifting through a 6-hour recording. Exactly. Let's see. I'll pick another one from Devoted to Yah. Here we go. Oops. Give me just a moment here. I'll get the link here for everybody in the chat. But yeah, the Torah portion with the Jubilees, really, really good. Especially at the end there. Well, the whole thing was really good, but especially at the end. So it'll be this video here. I just shared in chat. And I'll share my screen. And I'll go ahead and play it.
Why do the nations rage? Why do the kings conspire in vain? They rise against Yahuah and his anointed, but the king is coming to reign. They say break his coats apart, cast away his holy ways. Yahuah sits in heaven, plans will fade away. He says, I set my king on Zion's mountain high. Yahusha rules with power and fire. His truth will never die. Yahusha reigns. Yahusha reigns, yeah. Yahusha reigns, like creation tremble. The lion of Judah tears the darkness every shore. Yahushua reigns forevermore. Whoa. He reigns, he reigns, he reigns from Zion.
Well, I think that's a perfect song to go along with the calendar discussion we're going to be doing too. Barak Yahuah, I love it. So yeah, are you ready there, Sister Marissa? If not, we can
I'm
start.
ready. I'm ready.
Oh, perfect.
I'm about as
Take
ready
it
as I'm
away.
gonna be. All right. Sorry, just figuring out how to share my screen again. There we go. Jeremy, I don't know why I can't click it. I'm clicking share screen, but it's not going. I'm gonna leave and come back.
Yeah, that'll probably do it. Sometimes it glitches out on me like that too. Like I'll go to share the screen, but nothing happens. So you gotta leave and come back.
Yeah, I keep clicking it and it's not coming up. That's weird.
Yeah,
All right,
usually
I'll try
leaving.
it. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy, when she gets back on, ask her if she needs to re or update the Telegram app. I know sometimes, like, if I need to update my app, it won't let me do certain things.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was a recent update because Telegram looks different for me slightly.
Yeah. So, I don't know. When she gets back on, maybe we can tell her that.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, Shabbat Shalom, Andrea. Shabbat Shalom, Sarah. Shabbat Shalom, Charlie.
Yes, and back at ya. Good to see everyone on.
And yeah, sorry. Oh wait, are you back,
Yeah, I
Marissa?
am, but I'm still like over here. I'm trying to click it. I'm literally clicking the button and it's just not. I don't know.
Did you update it
Yeah,
recently? Because I know that just,
yeah, I jumped out to make sure and it's updated. So, all right, give me a minute. Sorry, guys. Jeremy, if you want to play another song, that's fine. I'm gonna just restart my phone or something.
yeah, I mean, yeah, interesting. Give me 1 second. Okay, let me find this other song here that Brother Micah shared. There we go. All right, let me share my screen. You know, it's always the technical difficulties that come in, huh? And are you back, by the way, Sister Marissa?
Yep, still clicking it, and it's not going. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and play a song. I'll try to figure something out.
Okay, yeah.
For a broken heart and a contrite spirit is what you desire, and a sacrifice on the altar draws the fire. Stretch me out like Isaac when you bound me, you found me. Hineni, Hineni, and I will not give my gain, that which cost me nothing, drinking of suffering. Hineni, for a broken heart and a contrite spirit is what you desire, and a sacrifice on the altar draws the fire. So stretch me out like Isaac when you bound me, you found me. Now fear does Hineni, Hineni, and I will not give my gain, that which cost me nothing, drinking of suffering. Hineni. Stretch me out like Isaac, where trust never ends.
All right. Give me just a moment here. Hold on one second. Sorry, trying to get stuff figured out here. Yeah, Sister Marissa is unable to share for some reason. And yeah, no, it's been a while, Sister Charlie. Welcome back. Good to see you. Let's see. So you're still, it won't let you share, Sister?
No, I keep clicking it.
Hold on one second. I'll have to get my Gmail up now and figure all that out. Okay. I think I got it. I just don't know
Marissa,
how.
have you tried to uninstall the app and then reinstall it? I know that's a lot, but
No.
it really don't take that long.
No, alright, I'll try that, Jeremy. Hold on.
Okay. Sorry about the technical difficulties, everybody. Let's see. We can try to find another song to play while we wait.
I could send one.
Yeah, do it if you got one to send.
All right, I will be right back.
Awesome. Yeah, blow the shofars. There you go. Or if anybody wants to play a song. I like shofars. That's a good idea, Sister Natalie.
Arkin said, can he blow his shofar?
You're going to blow the shofar? Awesome.
Hallelujah. Someone else is playing too. I know. Oh, goodness. Hallelujah. Oh, gotcha.
Rock Yahuah.
I also
Love it.
You can't show them because it doesn't have a video. Oh, it's been a while. Praise Yah.
I made a wooden music box from my science kit. Listen.
Hallelujah.
Okay.
Woohoo! Praise Yah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah. Wow. Yes.
Love
Thank
it.
you, Heavenly Father. Praise you, Abba. Praise you. We worship and adore you. Thank you.
Keep it coming. I love it. Barak Yahuah.
Ah.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out how to get Sister Marissa to be able to share. And yeah, I don't think there's anything on my end that's preventing you. I mean, you're an admin, so you should be able to share and everything.
Clearly admin means nothing, Jeremy.
So
Yeah,
Marissa,
right.
did you already take it off and then reinstall it and it still didn't do anything?
Hold on.
Yeah, I've gotten my shofars off Amazon before. Yeah, there's certain shop links as well. Yeah, it all varies, really. You get them off Amazon, you can get them off eBay. There's different shofar sites as well. And they range in prices and looks and decorations and things like that. Usually they got everything from ram's horns to the big old long ones. Oh, that's an awesome shofar there, brother. Yeah, there's that's a real nice one that you shared there, Sister Tabitha. Awesome. Thank you, Andrea. Yeah, see, lots of websites. Yeah, yeah, you can get the unfinished ones and then just finish them and decorate them yourselves, all that. You just spend the extra money. Yeah, there's Sister Natalie's. Boom. I should take a picture of mine. I actually got a couple different. Ooh, nice one, Andrea. Yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of mine. Yeah, it's awesome. Everybody's sharing their pictures of their shofars. Give me one sec. Take some pictures of mine. So I got two different ones actually. Here, let me. Where's that? Now it'd be great to blow all shofars together, all of us together. Wow, that's a cool one, Natalie. Mine's loading up here. But here, since we're still waiting, let's see. I know.
Hey, Jeremy, I tried to even, I downloaded everything on my work phone and it's still not working. So, I don't know. You might have to, just share your screen with it if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's all good. Give me 1 second here. So let's see. I gotta figure out how to make this full screen. Hold on.
Yeah, so when you open the Google Slides, Jeremy, you're gonna click slideshow, pull it up and then click slideshow and it'll turn it into full screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Boom. There we go.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
All
You
right.
got
So
this.
I'll just tell you like when to flip the slide for me, okay?
Got it.
Okay. All right, you can go to the next one. Okay. So this presentation is going to be about walking from the flesh into walking into the spirit. And so a foundation of our belief is that belief is faith in action. And so before we even read the scriptures, before we open a Bible, we have this inherent inner knowing that there is a creator, that we've been created. And so that's what sparks our interest into even seeking that out, and then we hear about the Bible, as a child or whenever, and we're like, oh, this is what the word of God is, and this is what's going to tell us, like, why are we here? What is our purpose, et cetera, et cetera. So there's this inner knowing that causes us to go on this journey with him. And so at one time, our faith was as small as a mustard seed. And over time, through our journey of walking with him, Yah reshapes what we believe. So he begins to reshape our reality. And so that may look like us coming out of the world. He calls us to be set apart, to be in the world, but not of the world. And those scales start to fall off of our eyes. And what we thought we believed, we realize was deception. And so through our journey with him, he will reshape our reality and what it is that we believe. There's not an instant clarity about it. It is a peeling back of the layers. It is like learning one thing after another, realizing like, oh, I was wrong about that. Oh, yep, that too. And we begin to replace these things, these foundational beliefs, with what scripture says. And so it happens in layers, it happens in levels. And so as we're going through that journey and that process, we realize that the more we know, the more we don't know. And so it's like, well, I thought I knew all of this. What else have I been lied to about? And so in just reading scripture, we begin to develop this understanding of what it is that sin is. And so scripture tells us that sin is the transgression of Yah's commands. And so in realizing what sin is, that is what awakens us through our pain and our repentance, our remorse for the things that we've done in our life. We're being awakened through that pain. And so how does that pain not crush us is the question. So we can see by Yah's example in scripture that love is what sustains transformation in somebody. It's not pain alone that's going to do that. It is Yah himself, his love, that sustains us through all of our wanderings and takes root inside of our hearts and transforms us from the inside out. So while he may use pain to awaken us, he uses love to keep us walking. Okay, next slide. So before our moral compass is biblically calibrated, it is us who decides what the difference is between right and wrong. And that those decisions are based on our experiences in life, our upbringing, our education, Um, but because we don't know at that time what it is to walk in the spirit, we are walking in our flesh. And so it's our flesh that is determining that moral compass. And we can see that in just you know like phrases like follow your heart, and you got to do what's right for you, right in your own eyes, right? And so um the works of the flesh are actually found in Galatians 5:19-21. 5:19 through 21 says, and the works of the flesh are well known, which are these: adultery, whoring, uncleanness, indecency, idolatry, drug, sorcery, hatred, quarrels, jealousies. There's so many in here, but some of the ones that I really wanted to highlight was this: um, adultery, fornication, idolatry, hatred. So just hating somebody, that is a work of the flesh. Wrath, to be angry with someone, or envy, to be jealous of them. Um, drunkenness, and that's not being sober. It's not having a clear mind. Even selfishness, being self-serving, that is the work of the flesh. And so when we operate with a moral compass that is calibrated to what feels good to us in the flesh, those works only reinforce the false beliefs that we have, that were formed through pain and through fear and through misunderstanding. And that is what separates us from Yahuwah. And so we know from 1 Corinthians 6:19 that the body is the temple for the Ruach to dwell. It says, or do you not know that your body is the dwelling place of the set apart spirit who is in you, which you have from Elohim, and you are not your own? So when we realize that our body is the temple for the Ruach, it causes us to begin to treat our body in a better way. And so a lot of these works of the flesh are going to impact us negatively, physically, but also spiritually. Next slide. Okay, so Matthew 7 tells us that we will know them by their fruits. And so, hold on. That is, okay, it says, so every good tree yields good fruit, but a rotten tree yields wicked fruit. A good tree is unable to yield wicked fruit, and a rotten tree to yield good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. So then, by their fruits, you shall know them. And so the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, trustworthiness, gentleness, and self-control. And so we have to exert self-control in order to be able to treat our body as the temple for the Ruach to dwell. We have to put away the desires of the flesh. Galatians 23 continues, against such there is no Torah, and those who are of Messiah have impaled the flesh with its passions and its desires. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. And so if we walk in the Spirit, our belief is made evident by our faith in action. So belief is faith in action. And this can only be developed through our experience with Yah. It's a journey. None of us have yet arrived. It's not a destination. It is a continual refinement of who we are and peeling back of those layers and uncovering deeper truths to what is written in his word. Next slide. Okay, so I want to read to you guys this Ephesians 3:14-21. For this reason, I bow my knees to the Father of our Master, Yahushua Messiah, from whom all fatherhood in the heavens and earth is named, in order that he might give you, according to the riches of his esteem by power, to be strengthened in the inner man through his Spirit, that the Messiah might dwell in your hearts through belief, having become rooted and grounded in love, in order that you might be strengthened to firmly grasp with all the set apart ones what is the width and length and depth and height, to know the love of Messiah which surpasses knowledge, in order that you might be filled to all the completeness of Elohim. And to him who is able to do exceedingly above what we ask or think, according to the power that is working in us, to him be the esteem in the assembly by Messiah Yahusha unto all generations, forever and ever. Amen. And so verse 16 tells us Yah strengthens the inner man through his Spirit. So as we step out into obedience before full understanding, we'll begin to see fruit. And that fruit teaches us what belief alone could not yet convince us of. So his love steadies us when our own self-belief is weak, teaching us to receive grace before we are able to fully extend it inward. And so it's through our journey, through the journey itself, that we're refined in our understanding of him. His nature takes shape in us. And so this love also teaches patience with ourselves and with others as we continue to grow in understanding. It is by witnessing his mercy and grace that our trust in him is strengthened. And spiritual growth rarely happens all at once. It unfolds through small, faithful steps taken consistently over time. Next slide. All right. So Matthew 6:20 says, Matthew 6:20 says, "But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal." So this verse is telling us that we store our treasures in heaven by what we do in this life. And we read in Matthew 6:22-23, it says, "The lamp of the body is the eye." So what does that mean? It means that if we see a brother or sister in need, we rise to the occasion, ready to be Yah's hand and feet in the physical. So it continues, "If therefore your eye is good, all your body shall be enlightened." So thus, when we rise to the occasion, when we become Yah's hand and feet, we glorify him by our thoughts and our actions and become a beacon for his light to shine through. Next slide. Ephesians 3:6 says, "The nations to be co-heirs, united in the same body, and partakers together in the promise in Messiah through the good news." So we're a fellowship family here. We're united in the same body and partakers together on this Sabbath day. Verse 7, "Of which I became a servant according to the gift of the favor of Elohim, given to me according to the working of his power. So we become a servant according to the working of his power, and that's a gift. It's a gift to be given the opportunity to be Yah's hands and feet in this life. Verse 8 says, "To me, the very least of all the set apart ones, this favor was given, to bring the good news of the unsearchable riches of Messiah among the nations." So what he's saying is that he feels to be the very least, like he's like, I'm the weakest link, but Yah often works through people who appear least, they appear small, they appear insignificant, but that only reveals more how his power is not dependent on our human strength or status. Our weakness reveals his beauty and his glory. So by being willing to serve humbly, it allows his grace to flow through us in many areas of our lives. Because we are only capable of as much as our flesh allows. We're capped. We have limitations. This flesh is weak. But we're only capable of that much unless we walk in him. And so Matthew 16:24 says, "Then Yahusha said to his taught ones, if anyone wishes to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life shall lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake shall find it." And so in this verse, Yahusha is almost like he's inviting people to let go of who they were, to step into who they're meant to be in him. And so there's no way for Yah to move good things into our life unless we're willing to let go of other things. We have to create space for the tasks that he's set in before us. And so we might be sitting here thinking, well, I'm unqualified. You got the wrong guy or girl. You got the wrong one. I almost feel like Yah's laughing at us when we say that. You got the wrong one. Well, we think that because of what we know what our weaknesses are, right? And so, but he uses our weaknesses to testify of his strength to everybody who crosses paths with us. And so, I know I have brethren here that know a lot of my strengths. I mean, my weaknesses. And the only reason I can do this is through the Ruach, to be able to minister, and that any of you can be able to minister to one another is through the Ruach doing it. It is not by our own strength. We all have weak moments. But we need to put it in perspective that Yah is doing a work through us for the good of his kingdom. Next slide. Matthew 5:3 says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, because theirs is the reign of the heavens." And so what does it mean to be poor in spirit? Isaiah 57:15 says, "For thus declares the high and exalted one who dwells forever, whose name is set apart. I dwell in the high and set apart place, with him who has a contrite and humble spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble, and to revive the heart of the contrite." A contrite heart is one that is crushed. So olives are pressed to make oil, and grapes are crushed to make wine, and iron is refined through the fire. He breaks us down to build us up in him. To be poor in spirit is to be humble and dependent on Yahuah, recognizing that our need creates space for his power to work. This humility opens our hearts to learn and receive guidance beyond our own understanding. If we can't humble ourselves, how can he minister to us? How he has to break our hearts open so that we can receive his love, his wisdom, his understanding. We can't take that in otherwise if our heart is hardened. We can't move into the next chapter or the next phase of our lives if we're holding on to what was. Next slide. Okay, Matthew 17:20. And Yahushua said to them, because of your unbelief, because of your unbelief. For truly I say to you, if you have belief as a mustard seed, you shall say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it shall move. And no matter shall be impossible for you. But this kind does not go out except through prayer and fasting. So when we're being pressed, when we're being crushed, and we know Yah's refining us, but it still hurts because it challenges our trust in him and it reveals our unbelief. Yahuwah, help our unbelief. Help our unbelief. That becomes the honest cry of those who desire deliverance but are still learning how to trust fully. When we can acknowledge our doubt, it invites Yahuwah to strengthen belief where it is weakest. We have to meet him in that secret place and say to him, Yah, I'm afraid of this. Yah, this is what's hurting me. We have to cry out to him and say, Yah, help our unbelief, for him to be able to strengthen us where we are weak. And we can't set expectations on when that deliverance will come, but we can petition him and lift one another up in prayer and in fasting. Faith matures when we learn to trust Yahuwah's timing instead of demanding immediate results. But the key word there is that it matures. It's through the journey. We don't just wake up one day and say, well, I believe, and that's it. And everything goes right for us in our lives, because it doesn't. We still struggle. And it's through that continual refinement, through the fire, that our belief is refined, that our faith matures, and we learn to trust Yah's timing instead of demanding immediate results. Next slide. All right, Colossians 2:6-7. Therefore, as you accepted Messiah Yahushua the Master, walk in him, having been rooted and built up in him and established in the belief as you were taught, overflowing in it with thanksgiving. So having deeply rooted belief and trust in him is what will get us through our trials more smoothly. It's belief that roots us deeply so that when trials come, we're sustained rather than shaken. When we lack belief, we will struggle more. And life is hard enough. So we can cry out to him, help our unbelief, Yah. So our spiritual foundation is strengthened by choosing to remain faithful through uncertainty. If Yah leads you to it, he will lead you through it. 2 Corinthians 5:7 says, for we walk by belief or faith. In some versions, we walk by faith and not by sight. Belief is faith in action. Jeremiah 17:7-8. This is one of my favorite verses. Blessed is the man who trusts in Yahuwah and whose hope is in Yahuwah. For he shall be like a tree planted by the waters, which spreads out its roots by the river, and does not see when heat comes. And his leaf shall be green. And in the year of drought he is not anxious, nor does he cease from yielding fruit. Next slide. Psalm 18:2 says, Yahuwah is my rock and my stronghold and my deliverer. My El is my rock. I take refuge in him. My shield and the horn of my deliverance, my high tower. What's interesting is the word horn here. So in Strong's, it shows that the horn represents strength and exaltation, revealing how Yahuwah is amplified through us as a testimony of deliverance. He's the horn because he's amplified through us as a testimony of deliverance. We can say, my El has delivered me. We can share our testimony, and he is amplified through us. He's glorified by being our strength when we were weak. And that's what becomes relatable to people. And they're like, yeah, I want that. They want that. They want Yahuwah on their side to be the wind in their sails. So while we may not understand where or what Yah is leading us to, nor how he's going to get us there, we can praise him in the hallway as we wait on his perfect timing. So we could be standing in the hallway, watching all these doors shut on us, and praising him anyways, even before he's opened the next one. He inhabits our praises because praise flows from belief, and belief anchors us firmly in him. Offering praise even before we fully understand shows our trust and allows his presence to fill us. As we live in obedience, our lives become living evidence of his power. Next slide. So you might be thinking, well, it's really hard in the hallway. Maybe there's no light on, or I don't know. There's something there where you're feeling really uncomfortable because you don't know what's coming next. Which door is going to open? Oh my gosh, And so there's this like air of uncertainty when we lack belief, when there's a level of unbelief that is in need of refinement. But because he inhabits our praises, when we don't know the exact words to pray, to convey our needs to Yah, we can still choose to sing and praise. We will still be filled with the Ruach, And the Ruach intercedes for us. Praise becomes an act of partnership with the Spirit, allowing Yah to work through us beyond our understanding. So if the Ruach intercedes for us, that means we're singing and we're praising, and we don't, maybe we're over there singing that Psalm 3 from left and right, and it really resonates with us, and we don't know what to pray, so we're just singing, and maybe we're just saying like, Yah, help me. But as we're praising, the Ruach enters our souls, and he knows the heart. He knows how we're feeling. And it's through that partnership with the Ruach that Yah can work through us beyond our understanding. Romans 8:38 says, "For I am persuaded that neither death nor life, nor messengers, nor principalities, nor powers, neither the present nor the future, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of Elohim, which is in Messiah Yahusha, our Master." Next slide. So we may not be able to see it now, why he is allowing us to suffer. And Job struggled with that too. Job 3:20 says, "Why does he give light to the sufferer and life to the bitter of being, who are waiting for death, but it does not come, and search for it more than treasures, who rejoice exceedingly, they are glad when they find the burial site? Why does he give light to a man whose way has been hidden, and whom Aloha has hedged in? So why does he allow us to suffer? And why does prayer and fasting draw us closer to him?" So yes, because the Ruach fills us when we praise, when we pray, when we meet him in that secret place. But we don't need to know everything. That's where a lot of anxiety comes from, because you're like, oh, I don't know what's next. I'm standing in this hallway. I don't know what door is going to open around me. I don't know how Yah's going to do this, how he's going to pave the way. And these questions often arise when pain exposes the limits of our understanding. So we could be really suffering. We could be in a lot of pain. And because our understanding is so limited compared to his, it exposes our unbelief. Because we're over here sitting there trying to figure it out. How's y'all going to do this? Rather than just choosing to trust him. Suffering teaches dependence on him and prepares us to receive deeper revelation. So the answer is to abide in him. And what does abide mean? Abide means to dwell, to settle in, to endure, to remain. And it also means to return to him. Abide in him, return to him. Next slide. All right, Romans 8:26-30 says, "And in the same way, the Spirit does help in our weaknesses. For we do not know what we should pray, but the Spirit himself pleads our case for us with groanings unutterable. And he searches the hearts, knows what the mind of the Spirit is, because he makes intercession for the set apart ones according to Elohim. And we know that all matters work together for good to those who love Elohim, to those who are called according to his purpose. Because those whom he knew beforehand, he also ordained beforehand to be conformed to the likeness of his Son, for him to be the firstborn among many brothers. And whom he ordained beforehand, these he also called. And whom he called, these he also declared right. And whom he declared right, these he also esteemed. So the Ruach helps our infirmities and makes intercession when words fail. Even when we cannot articulate our prayers, the Spirit faithfully intercedes according to Yah's perfect plan. Next slide. All right, so Job 3:24 says, "For my sighing comes before I eat, and my groanings pour out like water. For that which I greatly feared has come upon me, and that which I dreaded has overtaken me. I have not been at ease, nor have I been undisturbed, nor been at rest, yet trouble comes." So Job's anguish reveals to us that faith does not eliminate sorrow, but it brings it honestly before Yahuah. Faith brings our sorrow honestly before Yahuah. He wants us to come to him with our sorrows so that he can comfort us. Philippians 4:7 says, "And the peace of Elohim, which surpasses all understanding, shall guard your hearts and minds through Messiah Yahusha." So Yah is a loving father. And expressing pain openly allows Yah to meet us exactly where we are. He is a loving father with his arms wide open for his children to come and lean into. That is what he wants from us. That is our humble and contrite spirit. He's waiting for us to come to him so he can comfort us. Next slide. Psalm 22:14-15. I have been poured out like water, and all my bones have been spread apart. My heart has become like wax. It has melted in the midst of my inward parts. My strength is dried like a potsherd, and my tongue is cleaving to my jaws. And to the dust of death you are appointing me. And so Job's groanings poured out like water, just like Yahusha felt. He was poured out like water. And so that shows us that suffering is not abandonment, but it's participation in our redemption. We have to suffer. And when we choose to fast, our tongues cleave to our jaws. If you've ever done, like 48 hours or longer fast, you start getting very dehydrated, even if you're drinking water, and your tongue cleaves to your jaw. And so this discipline of fasting deepens our reliance on his strength rather than our own. It's that physical weakness that reminds us that true sustenance comes from Yah alone, knowing that Messiah shared in that suffering. and it strengthens our resolve to trust him. Philippians 3:7-10 says, "But what might have been a gain to me, I have counted as loss." What might have been, I've counted as loss because of Messiah. What is more, I even count all to be loss because of the excellence of the knowledge of Messiah Yahusha, my master, for whom I have suffered the loss of all. And I'll pause there, because how many of us have suffered the loss of our friends or our family or our church community or aspects of our lives that we once thought were for us or that we once thought that we wanted, but because of that knowledge of Messiah and beginning to understand his word and the revelation that we're given through our journey with him, we've lost all of that in order to be transformed through him and renewed by him. So continuing, for whom I have suffered the loss of all, and count them as refuse in order, so counted as trash, in order to gain Messiah and to be found in him. We have to let go of what was in order to step into what Yah has planned for us. It continues, not having my own righteousness, which is of the law. So the things that we can do within the capacity of our flesh. So not having my own righteousness, which is of the law, but that which is through belief in Messiah. The righteousness which is from Elohim on the basis of belief. And what is belief? Belief is our faith in action. To know him, verse 10, to know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings, being conformed to his death. So it is by our sufferings in life and even through the act of fasting that we can know him on a deeper level and be drawn closer to him. Next slide. Psalm 23, 3-4. He turns back my being. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. When I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. So when we are wandering, when we are struggling, when we are anxious, when we're fearful, when our unbelief rears its ugly head and is made known to us, he turns back our being. He grabs us by the shoulder and spins us around. He turns back our being because he's appointing us. He has something for us. He has a greater purpose for us. He had something in mind when he made us that he's already appointed us to. So in his loving mercy and grace, he spins us around and turns back our being and leads us through darkness into righteousness. Each day we get a choice. Each day we choose whom we will serve. Because we cannot serve two masters. We cannot walk in the flesh and walk in the spirit at the same time. And so when we choose him, he leads us faithfully forward. We choose to walk by faith, not by sight. And so we pick up one foot to put it in front of the other. And as we're stepping the foot down, Yah is sliding that brick under our foot or that stepping stone, whatever it is, to lead us on the paths of righteousness to what he's appointing us to. He leads us forward in faith. And that takes surrender. It takes relinquishing control on every aspect of our lives. We have to surrender to his guidance, because that's what's going to ensure that every setback that we have will contribute to our ultimate growth. There's going to be things that pop up in our day that seem like setbacks, right? So maybe we were late for work, but as we're driving 10 minutes later than what we were originally supposed to be, there was an accident on the highway, and you don't know what Yah has preserved you from, what he has turned you back from. And so that's why it's so important that we surrender to him and we choose to walk in obedience. And that choice to walk in obedience, to walk by faith and not by sight, becomes the path through which our belief is strengthened, because it allows Yah the opportunity to show up for us in ways that we never imagined. He's able to make those miracles happen because we've surrendered to his will for us, and our belief is strengthened. We have to choose daily our allegiance to him. And that's what will gradually shape our character and our spiritual sight. That's what gives us the clearer lens. We have to choose to abide with him and in him. Next slide. So abiding in him means to walk in the Spirit according to the truth found in his word. And so abiding in him can also look like surrounding ourselves with people who love and believe in us, with people who love and believe in him. This allows the Ruach to minister through others, and their words become vessels of healing and truth. We're the sum of those we spend the most time with, right? And so we need family, fellowship, family, friends that will speak life into us. People who have also made that choice to abide. Because our community shapes our belief by reflecting the hope and the light of Messiah back to us. John 4:36. He who is reaping receives a reward and gathers fruit for everlasting life, so that both he who is sowing and he who is reaping rejoice together. And so other people can be that light for us, and we can be that light for them. Next slide. So that doesn't mean that we're never going to struggle, though, right? We can't always be like light and love all the time. You know, that's just not how life is. Life is hard. And so while we will have struggles, our brethren will also have struggles. And scriptures show us that we will. But because we have each other, Mashiach is able to work through our community to minister to us. And so love chooses to believe beyond appearances, which reflects the heart of Messiah towards us and towards others. We have to remember that love is what sustains transformation in one another. You're not going to ridicule somebody into doing the right thing. We have to operate from that place of love, the fruit of the Spirit, in order to sustain transformation in others. We have to allow Mashiach to work through us, because he is the fruits of the Spirit in us, coming forth, that light, that beacon coming through us, speaking life into our brethren. And that love is going to sustain transformation. Corinthians tells us that love believes the best. And believing the best means to extend the benefit of the doubt. It's not saying that there isn't doubt there. We're just not choosing to act from that perspective. So we're going to extend the benefit of the doubt and believe the best in one another. And by doing so, we become guardrails for one another. We help keep each other on the narrow path through our struggles. This is what encourages growth in both ourselves and those around us. And yeah, sometimes that is easier said than done. Next slide. Sometimes sometimes people can be really frustrating, right? And so we could say, well, you know what? I've been patient enough, right? So John 3:10 says, Yahusha answered and said to her, if you knew the gift of Elohim and who it is who says to you, give me to drink, you would have asked him and he would have given you living water. So who is our well that we draw life from? And it's only through him that we are able to pour out without being empty. When we think, oh, I just don't have any more patience for this guy, it is through him that we are able to pour out even more patience than what our capacity in the flesh allowed, because we're choosing to walk in the Spirit. And so relying on Yah ensures that our service to others is sustainable and is life-giving. And so perhaps we lean on each other quite a bit sometimes. And, you know, one of us could be going through something really hard, and we're thinking, they're going through enough trials of their own. I'm not going to burden them with this. I don't want to burden them more. But that's not the mindset to have. We shouldn't isolate ourselves for their sake, because when it comes to them being called and appointed to the task of being their brother's keeper, the well that they draw from is him. And so let me rephrase that. Say you're going through something and it's really hard, and you're like, oh, I just can't take one more thing. And your best friend, somebody you really love, someone you have a deep relationship with, they come to you and they have this, this burden, and they're like, I just need to talk to you. I got to talk to somebody. Well, where then do we draw our strength and our patience from in that moment if we're already depleted? We draw it from the true well, because our capacity in the spirit is not limited. Next slide. John 4:13 says, Yahusha answered and said to her, everyone drinking of this water shall thirst again. So that's that physical water. She's looking at that water in the well. She's looking at the capacity of flesh. Everyone drinking of this water shall thirst again, but whoever drinks of the water I give him shall certainly never thirst. And the water that I give him shall become in him a fountain of water springing up into everlasting life. So, by tapping into the living waters, when we choose to walk in the Spirit, we are able to extend Yahuwah's mercy and grace to others and love them by believing the best in them, becoming guardrails, and truly supporting growth and transformation in one another. The water he gives sustains eternally, reshaping desire and belief from the inside out. Receiving this living water transforms both what we long for and how we act. Our flesh is weak. We have to choose to walk in the Spirit. Next slide. John 4:24. Elohim is spirit, and those who worship him need to worship in spirit and truth. And so, outward appearances of seemingly walking with him will never suffice to replace the fruit of the Spirit within us. This is why he said that the Pharisees were like whitewashed tombs. Like, they looked and they appeared, but there was nothing in them. The fruit of the Spirit was not in them, because they were operating in the capacity of the works of the flesh, which is limited. And so true worship flows from alignment with his Spirit rather than outward form alone. When we worship in spirit and truth, our hearts and minds are drawn into deeper connection with Yahuwah. So when we continually choose to abide in him, when we discipline ourselves to walk in the Spirit and to deny the rights of our flesh, this will become the content of our character. He replaces our heart of stone with a heart of flesh and writes the Torah on our hearts And this is made evident by our thoughts and our actions. Romans 12:2 says, "And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you prove what is that good and well-pleasing and perfect desire of Elohim." So that obedience is what sustains us and begins to rewire our brains and replace our false beliefs with scriptural truths. John 4:32 says, "And he said to them, I have food to eat of which you do not know." Then the taught ones said to each other, "Did anyone bring him food to eat?" Yahushua said to them, "My food is to do the desire of him who sent me and to accomplish his work." So that is what feeds us. Aligning our actions with Yahuwah nourishes our spirit in ways that nothing else can. Next slide. So, in knowing this, as we step forward each day and we choose whom we will serve, let us remember that transformation is a journey. It's not an instant change. None of us have yet arrived. We will be refined until our last breath. Walking from the flesh into the spirit means trusting Yahuwah and practicing obedience even when understanding is incomplete. Even when we don't know. We don't have to know. We just need to abide. We just need to trust in him. And it's Yah's love that sustains us through challenges. Patience carries us through uncertainty. And community speaks life into our hearts when our own faith wavers. We need each other. Each small step of faith and each act of trust and each moment of praise reshapes what we believe and draws us closer to him. We have to live our way into belief and choose to love deeply, to have compassion for one another, and to follow the paths of righteousness that Yahuwah has appointed for us. Matthew 5:9 says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, because they shall be called sons of Elohim." Thank you, guys.
Thanks, sister.
Thank you, sister. That was wonderful.
Super edifying. Thank you.
That hit it right on the mark, Marissa.
Yeah, amazing, powerful.
Marissa? That
Yes,
was
ma'am.
definitely. I was listening and I'm thinking, oh man, I got a song that goes right with that.
Well, then you gotta play it. Hello.
In a little bit, okay? I'm
Okay.
actually outside right now. So after a while, if you like, I can do that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And Shabbat Shalom, Sister Ellie. We missed you actually. We were just talking about you the other day.
Well, Sumi got a hold of me and said, hey, what's going on? We're missing you. You gonna come on today? Bless her heart. Thank you, Sumi.
That's awesome. And yet, amazing truth, Sister Marissa. Very well spoken. Very wise words of wisdom. 100%. I loved it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know how I'm gonna top that. No, I'm just kidding. But
You know, I really appreciate the things that you said about, and here you think you're at the end of it, and you just can't do it anymore. Remember where you get your strength from.
I love it. All praise to the Most High Yahuwah. Thank you very
Praise
much.
Yah.
And I know Tabitha, sorry, said she wanted to play a song or has a song she would like to play. And then we can get into the calendar presentation as well.
Yes, I was gonna play Meet Me Here, if that's all
Awesome.
right with you.
Yeah. Go right ahead whenever you're ready.
I'm gonna do a test real quick and see if you guys can hear me and if the guitar is not too loud. Worthy of all my praise, your name's the one I will raise. How does that sound right there?
Sounded good to me, actually.
Yeah, it's good.
Awesome. I'll just keep going now. Worthy of all my praise, your name's the one I will raise. Worthy of every breath, you became a sacrifice with your death. Your resurrection light is flowing through my veins. Your healing is flowing, my cup runs down. You are my portion and price. So Yahuwah, meet me here in the depths of this room. I want my heart to be yours as my eyes start to see your truth. Let your presence come down here in this temple of prayer. Sing for you full of fire. You are the quenches all fear. Your resurrection light is flowing through my veins. Your healing is flowing, my cup runs flowing. You are my portion and wise. Your healing is flowing, my cup runs flowing. You are my portion and prize. So Yahuwah, meet me here in the depths of this room. I want my heart to be yours as my eyes start to see your truth. Your healing is flowing, my cup runs flowing. You are my portion and price. Your healing is flowing, my cup once knowing. You are my portion and price. Your healing is flowing, my cup runs knowing that you are my portion and price. There you go. Yada
Barak.
Yahuwah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. It's
You're welcome.
beautiful.
Yeah, thank you, sister.
I think that might have been my best run yet.
That is my favorite song, Tabitha. I loved it.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you, sister. All praise to Abba.
Barak Yahuwah. Love it. To die, sister.
Hallelujah!
Oh, we love it. So, yeah, I guess we will get into the calendar section now. I need to stop this recording and then start up another one, and we'll get into it.